What up, Earthlings? Zube here. So I'm gonna tell a story first. That way, if you don't like astrology, you can like be like fuck off at the end and leave. But I read a book by Jordan Peterson, and some people might not like me just because I read a book by Jordan Peterson, but I didn't even know there was like controversy around the guy. He just fucking helped me. So maybe he speaks to people who are trying to build their lives from the ground up. Um, and and I found out some people like protested the publishing company or whatever. But anyway, I didn't read his first book, but I saw some of his stuff online when I was first in recovery and all that. Clean Your Room and stuff. I really should read it, but I read his second book, 12 More Rules for Life Beyond Order, I think it was called. And I'm honestly like, I consider myself pretty fucking smart. It's a heavy read. Like it's just it's not light reading, right? He's super intellectual, like he's fucking brilliant. But anyways, in the beginning of that book, he wrote something about how in his first book, he said, clean your room, or like keep your space clean. And that is important, right? For your mental health also. And spiritually, it's really important to me to do that too. So anyway, then he was talking about when there was a point in time where his life got really busy and he actually had shit going on. So now he's had a whole thing with becoming dependent on, I forget what it was, but it was to help his anxiety. But anyway, I don't want to get into the whole story, but the short of it, what really spoke to me immediately, and it's why I kind of struggle with doing videos and when we put stuff out there. But he said there was a lot of commentary on what a mess his desk was. And it was right when he was gaining a lot of popularity and, just some things hit him all at once. And he was like, you're right. Like they were right. His office in a photo behind him was a mess. And in a way that I didn't see the whole thing. I didn't know about like it then, but it's just hard because just because I have things that work for me doesn't mean I fucking do them all the time. You know what I mean? I screw up. We all screw up. Anybody who's not screwing up, it is like, or like I screwed up before, but now I'm good. I don't know. And I have trouble with that a lot of times with people. Like, I always connected with therapists and stuff like that when they admitted to having their own bullshit going on in their life. You know what I mean? Um, anyway, that was just sinking in with me, but it leads into astrology because I've been processing a lot of like what has, the triggers that were coming up for me last week. And I feel like stuff is moving. So um, I'm like, okay, this happened. I didn't like that. I addressed that. And I felt like if I would ignore triggers, they would literally come right back up again to be dealt with. You know what? Eventually, it was like it's like I wasn't getting away with burying shit, and I think that's what was so intense about that sun opposite Pluto. And now there's a breather, and I did say like astrologically, it's been a little bit quiet, and I feel like we're emotionally moving. If we're going through the process, right? I'm sure I'm going to talk about the good stuff, not that I ignore the bad stuff, but if you don't want to process, like that's where you are in your journey. There's literally no judgment in that. You know what I mean? Basically, if I piss you off, then don't watch me or do. I don't really care. But if we are going through the process authentically, it's like things are moving. I'm like, okay, so I dealt with that and I dealt with that. And now I'm like, what did I move around and how do I continue that? so that I don't have to go through a whole nother like triggerific week, right? Anyway, I'm weird. I like typically I'm like, oh, that hurt. Where does that live inside me? And I like being triggered, but it was too much last week. It was a lot, but I survived. So we have Venus in opposition to Jupiter. um, Venus in opposition to Jupiter. And Venus and Jupiter are both benefics. So that's a lot of energy, and it feels good, right? Like Jupiter is retrograding through Pisces. Venus is almost to Virgo, but it's in the last degree of Leo. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, whoa. It's happening. It's happening. Everything is going like like a zipper falling into place. Yeah. Venus is about to move into Virgo. The sun is about to go into Leo. Jupiter is about to retrograde from Pisces into Aquarius. Like there's like everything is emotionally, we've got Pisces and Cancer. It's like we're emotionally getting washed. I made a joke. I made a joke at this spiritual group that I was in. We were talking about being cleansed and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like when you get showered before you go into the prison. You know what I mean? Like it might not feel the greatest. So can I compare it to something else? Because it actually does feel sort of good. It's just like a rough, like, I don't know, with the scrub brush, how you scrub your nails. Like, and Venus is in the last degrees of Leo. She's like, okay, what do I want? And then she's going to go into Virgo, and Virgo is more or less about service to others, right? And actually doing the work. So, but we want to do something like we could belong to the greatest humanitarian cause ever. But if it doesn't speak to us, because not every soul is here to do the same thing, we're not going to enjoy the work of it. Wow. Yeah, there's about to be some big shifts over the next week. And I'm not even going to get into this full moon. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me pull a card. Pull a card. Yeah, the full moon coming up on Friday is don't we always fucking say that though? Like you can just ignore shit. You know what I mean? Ignore it. I don't know. See how that works out for you. But it feels confrontive. I haven't totally looked into it. Ghostlands. Yeah. Ghostlands, 17. That's the number that I see everywhere. Every fucking where for like a year. But Ghostlands is about not living in the past or not living in the future. It's about being in the now, right? But what I'm looking at here is it looks frozen, but the water is like running. It's like things are starting to like loosen up and wash free, or we've been floating along, and the sun being at the last degree of Cancer, the last degree is volatile. It's in Cancer, and it's like a dog getting out of the water and like shaking free, but we're in like the rapids right before we get out of like our rafting trip. We're like hopefully that was enough metaphors for you to make some sense out of this. But I gotta go. Oh yeah, it's my birthday. Anyway, I love you. Have a great day on earth. Peace. Namaste. Which means that because this is the day of this is the time of my solar return, it was like yesterday or before. This is the energy I will have kind of as an undercurrent my entire year. If you're interested in a solar return report, reach out. Love you.